So as a mechanical engineer, as you can guess, I dig all things mechanical. I own several skeleton watches, two swatches, a Tissot skeletonized watch, just anything, even before I was in the watch business, just to see the internals of the watch. So as long as I've had a store, I've really been intrigued by skeleton watches, and I'm always on the hunt for affordable skeletonized watches. And the affordable part is tricky because a good Swiss skeleton watch, a real skeleton, is gonna cost you a pretty penny. Well north of $1,000, I'd say. Citizen started to make some skeletonized movements, and I've had some of those in the past. But just to find a brand that focuses, or a whole sect of brand that focuses on skeletonized watches, is something that, I have looked for, and I've been through a couple of brands. And recently I started with Stuhrling watches, and they're out of Brooklyn here in New York, and I have three of them in front of you today, and they're all affordable and to some degree skeletonized, and just really cool watches. Functionality as well, so functionality, affordable, skeleton, and you can look inside and see what's going on. So they are pretty cool. So yes, to make them affordable, they're powered by Chinese skeletonized movements, but don't let that scare you at all. They have certainly come a long way, and I want to go over these three pieces with you and just kind of give you a little feel for the lineup. I do plan on expanding into some more of the dive and pilot's watches that they make, but for now I've stuck with the skeletonized versions. So the first one I'm showing you is it's a model number 657.01. It is a dual timer. With it's got a 40-hour power reserve, and what I'm going to do before let me give you the overalls of the watch, and then I'm just going to zoom in so I can show you everything on it. So it's got a 42 millimeter case, it's 13 thick, it's 51 from tip to tip, and it has a 22 millimeter buckle. So it's in that normal 42 millimeter watch where it might be too big for some, it might be okay for others. It's got mineral crystal on the front and the back, obviously a see-through display back, 50 meters water resistant, and a 1-year warranty. So I want to zoom in on it because it is skeletonized, and we want to check out. That's really the only reason why you came, right, is to see movement. So let's zoom in on it. So we can see that at the top is a day-night indicator. So if I pull out the crown to set the time, as I move it, the sun is noon, and then the moon will be midnight, as you can see. So I've got blue skeletonized hands against a white background, little blue markings. I do a lot of their white and blue watches. I think they're really nice. A lot of times the black dial with the silver hands, I feel is difficult to read. So it is a dual time watch, as you can see. There's another time zone over here. And how do you set it? Well, if you remember recently, I did a video with Red Star, their dual time watches, and it had to do with the forwards backwards thing. This is kind of the same. But you notice as I'm setting the time forwards, this time zone's not moving. So the way you set it is actually pretty cool. When you move the time backwards, so the main one's going backwards, but the other one is going forward. So the way you set it is you set it backwards, get this time zone on the left to where you want it to be. Let's say I want it to be 9 o'clock. Done. And then I go forwards, and I can set this one to my home time. 3 o'clock, let's say. And there you go. Wind it like that. I don't want to wind it too much because I want to show you that. And I don't know if you saw, it does not hack, but it obviously did hand wind. So what's cool about watches like this, and what I've always appreciated, as an engineer, is that when you wind it, you can see now the mainspring. I don't know let's try to get in there. That's about as sharp as I'm going to get. And as you wind it and it spins, you can see that coiled up spring is going to compress itself more and more. And eventually it will reach a full wind. Like I said, a full wind 40 hours. And what it's doing is it's pressing all the coils against the edge of the barrel. And that's how you know the watch is at its full power reserve. And over time, that spring will then release itself and allow the watch to wind up. Here you can see the balance in full effect. You see the little escapement going back and forth. I love looking at this stuff. It's beautiful. The movement is decently finished. Oh, price. The watch is around $230. So it certainly is quite affordable. And just check that out. I mean, if you can't stare at that and appreciate it, then you're not an engineer. I happen to love it. I think it's gorgeous. It's mesmerizing almost. Comes with a black leather strap, signed Stuhrling buckle with the Stuhrling wings. And just, for a skeletonized, partially skeletonized watch with dual time zone right at around 200 and change, it's certainly in the right ballpark of price. So let's say you want something a little different, maybe a little simpler. This is the another 42 millimeter model. This is the Atrium Automatic, another semi-skeleton. It's all skeletonized in the center. Then we have the silver dial on the outside. This is model number 747.01. Much more affordable. This one's around 119 bucks. Again, with the blue hands on the silver, black numbers around the outside. It is 42, still by 13, by about 50 tip to tip. It's a 22 millimeter lug. It's on a nice brown leather strap. And again, as before, we can hand wind it. Does not hack. When I pull out the crown set the time, the second hand keeps going. But now you can really, this is more skeletonized than the other one. You can see the balance over here going back and forth. We flip it over. The rotor is a little bit skeletonized as well, so we can kind of see things a little bit better. The mainspring. I just like checking this stuff out and seeing everything work. Let's zoom in on there. We'll check it out. Again, like I said, I could stare at something like that all day. I think it looks so cool. Balance going back and forth. There's the escapement again. There's the escape wheel turning. I think it's turning counterclockwise, and that drives the seconds hand. There's the spring, and everything is connected to run the watch through gear reduction. And as we wind it again, we are winding up the spring. Still really cool. Nice silver dial. There's no loom here. It's pretty much a dress watch, and very easily a conversation piece or a conversation starter. And if you want something a little more wild, wait till you see the last one. This is the Stuhrling Emperor Grand Automatic, another dual timer. The model number is a mouthful, 127A2.33152. Again, I've gone with the blue. I chose the blue on the whitish silver background. I just think it's so much easier to see. But it's a dual timer again, and the crown, well, as you notice, I'm trying to pull it. The crown is at the 12 o'clock, much like a pocket watch would be. I used to sell a watch, I'm going back probably a dozen years ago, by Polyot, a Baran, and the Baran had a similar look to it, similar crown position. See, again, turn the time forwards, and the second time zone down here doesn't move. This one does, and then you move the time backwards, and there it goes. So, pretty cool. Let's, again, I'm going to zoom in on it so you can see all the detail. So here is the second time zone down here. What is it? I don't know, 410 or something. The main time zone, another day-night, sun and moon display. I'm never really impressed with those, but I understand that they do it just to kind of offset the dial a little bit. And then again, back here or down over here, you can see all the workings of the watch. A little fancy bridge put over it, obviously just for show. And let's see, as you wind it, you can see this mainspring is up here on the upper left. It's winding, and just really cool looking. You may see as I turn it over, it actually is powered by a double barrel. It's two serial barrels. Again, it's interesting. Let's, I don't think I went over all the dimensions of the watch. I apologize. 46 millimeters in diameter. See, it's a true circle. And it is 13 millimeters thick. And of course, on the tip to tip, it really is still 46 millimeters, because it's not really much of a lug to speak about. Special strap, it's 24 millimeter. So you see the strap is cut down here for there, and then at the top it's a normal 24. Again, it's meant to look like a pocket watch. Originally, when wristwatches came out, it was basically the first ones were pocket watches that were mounted on a strap. So a cool looking watch, skeletonized, around $249, dual time zone. Again, not for everyone, I understand that, but certainly something really cool to look at. I will try the other two on my wrist. This one I could never get on my wrist. It's too big. But I will try the other two on, and we can take a look. So here's the first one at 42 millimeters. It's a fine fit for my wrist. Looks nice, stylish. Again, conversation starter, and if you appreciate things mechanical or wristwatches in general, it's just something that if you're bored and sitting at your desk at work, you could take it off and flip it around and check out all the things that are happening on the inside. And then here's the other 42 millimeter one. Again, the fit's fine. It's bold on my wrist. It looks good, though. I have no problem wearing something like this. I do like, I like that it stands out a little bit. It's got a little flair, a little panache. Certainly a cool looking watch. No denying the fact. And with the dual time complication, it's actually useful. So this has been Mark from LongIslandWatch.com showing you some Stuhrling automatic skeletonized watches. Please like this video if you enjoyed it. Please subscribe to the channel if you have not done so. And if you have any questions or comments, put them down below and I will be sure to address them as soon as I can. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.